And then you got 15 minutes.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Dave Daughtrey, and welcome to our Saturday morning webinar. Before I begin, I just want to make sure that I can be heard. So if somebody could just type in the text and say, yes, you can hear me. I just want to make sure. Test 1, 2, 3. Somebody? Anybody? All right. Can you guys hear me? There we go. All right, Tony. Thank you. All right. Great. Thanks, you guys. Again, thank you for joining us today, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Just so you all know, next weekend, we will not have a Saturday webinar, just so you all know. Thanks, Bill, for joining in from New Zealand there. Appreciate you being on. So next week, no webinar, so you all know. And I want to bring you up to speed on some of the updates and what's happening with the whole system that we're working on. And we've got a guest on that's going to be joining in with us here in a few minutes that will be sharing his story as well as using DittoTalk in his part of the world. And actually was very involved with us in the creation of DittoTalk and developing the script and so forth. So regarding DittoTalk, you all should have noticed, if you're DittoTalking, hopefully you all are, that there's now the new updated version is live, and we've got new videos. So you should see the new video in there with the scientist. We've got Rickay. For those of you that were at the For Life convention, she was the lead singer in the band there, and Rickay is doing the video on both ProTF and on the new transfer factor DittoTalk that will be coming out here shortly. So you should see those videos in there, and the Spanish one as well. For those of you that are using the Spanish DittoTalk, my portion of it is now in Spanish, and that's in the Spanish. I speak Spanish, of course. You could tell I'm a gringo, but still it's pretty good. And you should be able to use the Spanish one with that. Now we're working on the subtitles. So subtitles will be coming up in a lot of the videos where like David and Bianca are speaking, or places where the video is in English and we have to have it subtitled. Now, new DittoTalks. We're working with For Life currently. We're waiting for the packages to get the item codes for them so that you'll all be able to start choosing a particular country and do transfer factor DittoTalks. So the transfer factor DittoTalk should be live. I wanted to have it live by today. That was the goal. And I do apologize. That should be live this coming week, no problem. Everything seems to be done on it, just so you all know. And that's at DittoTalk, and that should be live this week. So what you'll start seeing, you guys, just so you all know, these changes happen quickly. For example, last week, you noticed that we made a quick change. People were getting confused with the box up in the upper right corner, having to select that to be a presenter. Well, now you've got two selections right in the middle of your screen, and you can see if you're going to present or if you're going to observe. Well, the other things you're going to be noticing here as these changes are made, they will happen, and you may not get an email or anything letting you know because DittoTalk does this, and they don't really, I know after the fact when it's live, and many of you might see it even before I do. But excuse me, the point is that a lot of these changes that are happening happen quickly, right on the fly. So you'll just log in one time to your DittoTalk and go, wow, it looks different. Well, you're going to start seeing a lot of countries pop up. Gabby and I have plans to leave just after the first of the year to do a tour of Asia. We'll be in Singapore, in Malaysia, Manila, Philippines, and Jakarta, Indonesia, and then back home. Then we'll be home for about 10 days or so. Then we're off to Colombia to go down there and do training as well. So we're going to be traveling around, and during my trips, the theme of my events, my presentations are going to be all about the art of presenting the For Life opportunity and products. So presenting really is an art, and I'm going to be talking a lot about this, you guys, week after week, because my goal is to have everybody that's participating, in DNA, the Diamond Networkers Alliance, and using DittoTalk. I want you all to be master presenters, to be able to talk to anyone. Now, I gave you all a challenge last week about going out and just talking to someone. Now, I did get a message on Facebook from somebody who actually did go out and talk to a stranger and was able to get them engaged in talking and learning about For Life. Now, I don't know if this individual signed up, but the point is the individual who messaged me was all excited about the fact that he had talked to a stranger. Now we'll have these testimonies. I'm going to start getting some of these people on live. We have today, like I said, we've got with us a gentleman that will share his story. But it's always fun to hear these stories. And I'm just telling you, if you think about it, your goal is to get to the point where some of us are in For Life, where we have an organization that we're working with people. And if you've got an organization of 100, and then 200 and 500 and so on, pretty soon you find yourself in a different role. We all begin our business by signing an application. We all begin our business by talking to that first person and the second person. So we all start the same place. It doesn't matter if you're a diamond or you're a platinum international diamond. We all began the same way. So what makes the difference between somebody who starts out and let's say they get to diamond and that's it, as opposed to somebody that gets all the way to presidential, even presidential diamond, but platinum international diamond? Well, there's a process. And in this process, it comes down to, for me, one simple thing for your success, and that is numbers, 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 numbers. It is a numbers game. And if you learn to play it that way and keep it in your mind, you have to be a bit careful because I've seen people go out and they do 20 presentations and they don't sign up one person. They don't sell one item, one bottle, nothing. Well, that's because you get locked in a particular mode where you're talking to people. And many times I see people talk to people and they don't know how to go in. And we always, you say close the person. But I learned something from Tony Kruger actually years ago in Australia. And Tony might even be on with us here today. It's not a close, it's an open. You're bringing somebody into the relationship, into the family, and you're hoping to open the door so that individual's there for life, and that's our goal. So if you're doing these presentations and talking to people, how are you doing? How is your percentage? Because if you're ditto talking, everybody should be experiencing, a fairly high rate of bringing people in or signing them up. When it comes down to the end of the presentation, you have to get comfortable with asking that individual and just assume they're going to get started with you. Always assume that, okay, this individual, I'm talking to them. Why would they not want to try the product? Why would they not want to get involved? And so, it's that simple. I've always said, and I'll keep on saying, this is a simple, simple business. It's not an easy business, but it really is simple. We're storytell. And that's all we do. So, in my mind, when I started For Life, I didn't think about how many people I was going to sign up today, how many people I was going to close, or open, bring into the business. That wasn't in my head. What was in my head was how many new friends can I make? And I'm just going to assume they're going to want to join my team, join For Life, and be part of the family. Now, when I talked to people in the beginning, I sold myself a lot. I know that doesn't sound right, but what I mean is I know that people buy me first. In other words, if they believe in me, then they're going to believe in For Life, the product, the system, the whole business model and so forth. So the point is, I always say, people will buy you first. So when you're ditto talking or presenting or just talking to someone, always remember, it's not necessarily what you say. Yeah, what you say is important. What you say does make a difference, even from the time you say hello to someone. But really what I want you to think about, you guys, is not just what you say, but what do they feel? All right. Kevin Moore made a comment about his son when he came to visit us a few months back. He said his son smiles with his eyes. And when you look at him, it's true. When he smiles at you, his eyes look like they're smiling. See, people know how they felt when they talk to you. The reason I'm making this point is because if you're ditto talking, because I just talked to this gentleman I'm going to introduce in a few minutes, and he's got people that are doing 7, 8, 10, 15 ditto talks in a day. That's a lot of ditto talking. Well, if you're doing that many ditto talks, you need to step back at the end of each day, really, and say, okay, I did 10 ditto talks today. What were my results? Okay, remember, we're talking about the art of presenting. Ditto talk is meant to be your tool to open the door and expose somebody to For Life, the products, the opportunity, network marketing, the business model, the future, what lies in the future as we talk about these future threats and so forth. So Ditto Talk is going to open the door, create curiosity, and hopefully they're going to want to come in and want to try the product, want to know more and get involved. And they too would start ditto talking. But keep in mind that every time you ditto talk, it's how they feel about you. Now, the gentleman I'm going to introduce here in just a minute, you'll notice right away as he starts talking that he's personable. So when he's talking to someone, it's not about him reading a script. It's about how he speaks, his voice, friendship. All right. When you talk to someone, you're making a new friend. Ditto talking is designed for warm and cold market. You're going to find that you'll probably end up having more success in a cold market than a warm market. I say that because warm market, like I said last week and even the week before, warm market people, those are your friends, family, neighbors, the ones that know you, they're going to judge you. And I would use them to practice your ditto talk on. So practice with friends, family, neighbors. And then with cold market, as you're talking to people, you really want to make sure you got your skills honed in there. And that's where you can experiment and play around. Challenge yourself. Take yourself out of normalcy, something that's common for you, the way you speak, the things you do. Challenge yourself when you're talking to an individual, ditto talking. And when I say challenge, what I mean is, don't be afraid to ask trigger questions as well. When you're talking to someone, if you're not getting somewhere, how do you feel? What do you think? I say that a lot. Now, I'm not saying to interrupt a middle of a ditto talk and say, what do you think? But you can feel, when you're talking to someone, if they're engaged with you or they're not. So if you're talking to someone, especially when you get to the end and you feel that, hey, this isn't right, I just don't feel this is going somewhere, ask the person, what do you think? Or how do you feel? And get some feedback from them. All right. That feedback is extremely important in order for you to know how to navigate, as you're talking to this individual, keeping in mind that ditto talk is really, like a 20-minute presentation. So you've exposed it to them. After ditto talk, the relationship still continues on. And that's really where the real work begins, you guys. Right. The real work for me wasn't in presenting. The real work began when the person gets signed up. Now, you'll notice, for all of you here, I just want you all to know I'm working, all right? And I'm not trying to boast or brag here today, but what I'm saying is this. I'm working, and the gentleman I'm going to bring on the line right now, he's working too. I know that because during this past week, I'm going to share with you a little story. We have a gentleman that we've been working on, and working with, I should say, that was with another company, actually at the CEO level. And this gentleman saw that their businesses were declining by a substantial amount, 75% plus decline. So they're all looking for a new home, these people. Well, knowing that this gentleman has this big circle of influence, we approached it gingerly. That means carefully. Talked to him, and I talked to him first, knowing that he was going to buy me first. So I went in there, made a new friend. This gentleman was in Vietnam. He lives in the Philippines, and he's Irish, from Ireland. So figure that, all right? Married to a Filipino gal, lives in Davao, Philippines, is currently in Vietnam. And here, I found him, he found me, and we're talking, and we've done a series of calls throughout the week. So even though you guys hear me now, as a Platinum International Diamond, and I'm talking and I'm trying to help mentor and lead and guide and help all of you build your business, I too, during the week, I'm talking to people. I'm ditto talking, or I'm talking to someone on a three-way call or conference call or whatever. So you'll start seeing some new people coming in as well that I'm introducing myself to, and DittoTalk and so forth, and bringing them, into our family, the DNA family and For Life. So with that, I would like to bring on board here a gentleman. He's down in New Zealand, and hopefully he's on with us here. Hey, Barry, do me a favor. If you can just put yes in the text there, if you don't mind, and I'll continue here with the accolades. Just want to make sure that you're on here with me because I didn't see your name. I thought I saw it earlier. There you are. Okay, I see you. Sorry. All right. So anyhow, this gentleman I'm going to bring on, Barry Blake. Barry's down in New Zealand, and don't want to tell his story completely, but I want to share with you how we got to know each other, because this is part of the story. I can take any leg, I can take any leader, any great leader in my organization, and there's a story behind how they got started. It's common sense. Well, Barry, he was with another network marketing company before. That company had let him down, and that company had some challenges, and Barry found himself looking for a new home, and he had a team of people, a team of distributors. And we became connected through, and here's what's interesting. And you guys, this is about leadership too. Okay, here's a story about leadership. I was introduced to Barry on my 4th level, I believe it was, through a gentleman, Vince Rimmer, out of Australia. I was introduced to Vince by somebody up in Michigan by the name of Patty. Barry, I don't remember Patty. This goes back years and years. This goes back over a decade ago. So I started working with Barry. Okay, I'm a driver, you guys. The way I drive is working through my people. Okay. Now, Barry, when he looked at For Life and we talked on the phone, he asked if I was willing to go to New Zealand. And I said, absolutely, I'm willing to go to New Zealand. I'll go wherever I need to go. I was starting my business. This goes back to, I want to say 2000, roughly. Yeah, I'd say right 2000, 16 years ago. And so I got on a plane, flew to New Zealand, and guess what was the very first market For Life opened? New Zealand, number 1, first market. After New Zealand was Japan, and then so forth, all the countries that we're in now. But the point is that For Life also saw the leadership in this gentleman and opened the country and put an office in New Zealand, and of course Australia is open now and so forth. So I'd like to introduce the gentleman from New Zealand who was involved in helping put together the script of DittoTalk, and hope that you guys, we're still in test mode a little bit with Webinar Jam here, so hopefully Barry will be able to get on here, and I see that he looks like he's on. So Barry, with that, I want to introduce you. Go ahead, if you would, and unmute your microphone there and say hello to everyone here on our Saturday morning DNA webinar. And if you don't mind, just share a little bit about your story, DittoTalk, how you feel, and even a couple of success stories with DittoTalk, if you would. So everybody, Barry Blake from Auckland, New Zealand. You on, Barry?
Hello there, Dave. Can you hear me? I'm not sure whether I've got my technical issues dealt with. Just if someone can just give me a little thumbs up on how I'm coming through.
Yep, we can hear you, Barry.
Can you hear me okay, Dave?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Very good. All right, everybody, welcome, and thank you very much for inviting me onto the call, Dave. Yep.
Are you on there with us, Barry?
Yeah, thank you. I've just got other things happening in my ear from you, Dave. I'm getting your messages about 4 times. Here we go. All right, well, so thank you, everybody, for being on the call, and thank you for getting up early in my part of the world. I put a little note out to a few team members last night, and it's great to see that you are on the call, so thank you for that. So my involvement with DittoTalk has been very exciting, and I've been working with Dave and helping as I can over the last few months. And we are so excited about this technology and the way that it enables us to connect to people in a very high feeling way with the telephone, which is what our business is about talking to people one on one, and yet blending in the technology that is available in the world through great graphics and this genius system, DittoTalk. So it really is the best of all worlds right now, and we have such an exciting future ahead of us with this incredible tool. One of the things I love about the DittoTalk system is the way that we've built in the colors, the personality colors, the reds, the greens, the blues, and the yellows at the beginning. Because like any relationship that you want to have with somebody, one person has to lean toward the other to get a relationship going. Two people just can't be pulled apart. They've got to, somebody has to do the leaning in toward the other person. And when we have this quick, simple ability to find out their personality type as quickly as we can by just asking these simple little questions at the beginning, or the system asks them at the beginning of the DittoTalk, it's a very special thing. And of course, we are the ones that want the relationship. The observer doesn't know what we know, so we're the ones that have the opportunity to lean toward them. And by finding out whether they're a red, a yellow, a green, or a blue, it just helps us really talk to them in a different way. Just a little bit on the colors. I mean, I don't know whether people realize how what percentage of people are reds, greens, blues, or yellows in the population, but it's really quite interesting. The reds, of course, when we're talking to people just on the phone without the DittoTalk, the fastest way of finding out a person's color is to ask them the question, so Mary, what do you do, can I ask? And when they tell you what they do, their occupational preference, their job, you've got a pretty good chance. You've got about an 80% chance of knowing what color they are. So, for example, if they talk about being a red, and we of course we know what reds do. They do the top level exec, the military leader. They like action, action, and more action. Their decisions are quick and decisive. They're about 15% of the population, reds. So they're quite a significant part of the population, and they're a really good color to know how to speak to. These are the natural born leaders. They're the independent and self-sufficient people. They're dynamic individuals normally with lots of energy. They have weaknesses, of course. They're impatient. They like to argue with you, and they call it having a good debate. But of course, they're just getting into their disagreement mode. They're usually the most stubborn and unteachable of the colors. But for us who are doing the DittoTalks, it's really a powerful thing to know that they're a red, because they like a challenge. They like, you understand that they like to talk a bit about themselves. They don't like small talk, so you've got to keep it moving, because they don't like wasting their time. Quick and decisive. So when you're on the phone with them, you make your point, you give the options, and you move on. They are fantastic to have in your business, but just be aware that they don't really like to follow systems. They like to build their own and create their own. So they want to send you their CV. They want you to know who they are. So that's the reds. Very powerful to know that you're talking to a red. And of course, in the DittoTalk, you're given the little box all the time, reminding you how to speak to a red just by being quick and decisive. No small talk. So if they answer the question, if you're asking, if they choose, for example, the blue, and you find out that they're a blue, these are fantastic people to have in your business as well. Of course, blues make up about 15% of the population. These are the guys who are fast and spontaneous. They love relationships and interacting. They're enthusiastic. They're optimistic, persuasive, playful, charming. Um, Generally speaking, blues are generally speaking. This is one of their weaknesses, because they don't want to listen to you. They just want to keep talking. They're also very poor on follow-up. So if you've got blues in your business, you need to be helping them and reminding them that the follow-up is the most critical thing that we do. They don't like too much technical, detailed, or logical stuff. They just like rules and long, drawn-out processes. So again, you're keeping it moving with the blues. You don't want to be doing too much chit-chat. You're focusing on the fun aspect of what we do. You don't be surprised if a blue And a lot of young people actually will just naturally default to being a blue when they make their choices at the beginning of the Ditto talk. And don't be surprised if the only thing that they click on when they want to look at having a run through is looking at the Great Escape, having fun. I've done Ditto talks and blues have only looked at that. So this is what you need to think about for the blues. They're in entertainment of some sort, maybe sales. Good salespeople are always blues. They like recognition and applause, and their speciality is networking, which of course is a fantastic a reason for having blues in your business. So when you're on the phone with the blues, you have lots of energy. Be playful. The biggest group, or the second equal biggest group of people in the population are yellows. Most females have a big yellow streak inside them because this is the nurturing color. This is where people care about other people the most. Their pace is slow and relaxed. As I say, they're about 35% of the population. So you're going to strike a lot of yellows out there. So this is a big color to get to know how to speak to. Their strengths are that they're easy to get along with. They love to listen. They're very loyal and dedicated. They have a tendency to be a bit overly sensitive sometimes, and they can take things a bit more personal. So you got to think about that and be gentle with them. They love to help and give to others. Now, can you imagine better people to be in your team? They love to help, especially the needy. So they're always involved in the foundation for life, and later on as they get into the business. These are the guys who are teachers and social workers and nurses and that kind of group of people. They make decisions more slowly because they will pretty much always seek advice from someone else. And when you're on the phone with them, you've got to be patient and pleasant and warm. So you've got, figuratively speaking, you are talking to them with your arm around their shoulder, saying, let's do this together. Here's how we can help people. That kind of conversation. They don't like to be pushed about, so you've got to be very patient with the yellows. And then the last group, of course, is the greens. These are about 35% of the population as well. There's a lot of green people out there. Now, these are the guys who are slow and systematic. They like things to be accurate, precise, efficient, well-read, and they're conscientious. And this is why this group will notice every single spelling mistake in anything they read. And that's why in things like the Ditto Talk, we have given great care to make sure that all that kind of stuff is dealt with very, very professionally. Hopefully, you won't find any typos or grammatical errors in the Ditto Talk. If you do, let us know quickly. Let Dave know quickly, because these greens it'll drive them nuts if they see something like that. So these guys are overly cautious as well. These are the guys who can get into paralysis by over-analysis. They like to just do it to death, So that's why at the end of the Ditto Talk, where there's a more info button for them to get more information, they're going to love that because they get a lot more information. So the more information you can give a green, the happier that he or she is going to be. They like organization. They like to schedule things. They like to figure it out, take it apart again, put it back together. So don't be surprised if they take a longer time to make a decision. They like logic and reason. So when you're on the phone with these guys, be businesslike, calm, and precise. Now, once you know what color they are, it enables you to bend toward them, lean toward them, and monitor your language or the speed of your delivery. So you're slowing it down like this with the yellows. With the reds, you're talking fast, you're talking quickly, and you can tailor your conversation like this. The other great thing about our Ditto Talk presentation is I think we are pretty much the first in our industry to address this huge threat that we have coming up of job replacement by computerization. And whilst I have been asked by people, are you sure that this is going to happen like we're saying? Well, every single day now, you can see what's going on around us. And like for example, last week I walked into a major retailer here in my hometown in Auckland. It's actually an Australasian um, major store called Kmart. And normally when you go in there, there are about 12, 15 people behind a big long checkout with computerized checkouts screens, and you queue up and you spread out amongst all these people and they handle your sales. I hadn't been there for about a year, and we went back in last week, and we bought our item. I went to go and pay. There was no one there. Every single checkout had been replaced by a kiosk, and there was simply no one there. Even the desk, which had one monitor on it, had a sign on it saying, "This desk is unmonitored." Well, you didn't have to fool me. There was no one there. Everything was unmonitored, and nobody was having a problem with it. Everybody just checked out, scanned their thing, and walked out the store. So I looked at this and I took a photo of it actually, because I thought, well, there go 30 jobs just right there, because they'll have double shifts and triple shift people coming on. So that's how 20 or 30 jobs just disappear from one store. And the other day, of course, we were presented with Amazon Go, the Amazon concept store, which is now open and running in the States. And when you walk in, you scan the little scanner with your smartphone, go in, everything you take off the shelf is monitored by the Amazon Go system. Even if you put it back on the shelf, it takes it off your shopping cart, your virtual shopping cart. So this is all AI. This is all artificial intelligence being threaded into the shopping process, the buying process. And once you've selected all of your items, you simply walk out of the store. Now, how many jobs is that going to replace? 20 million? Must be. I mean, it's one of the biggest areas of employment is retail sales for part-time workers and contract workers. The other massive thing that's going to be happening is truck drivers, for example. I don't know whether people realize, but truck driving is the single biggest employment category, individual category in the United States for men. And there are 3 million truck drivers. Well, the first driverless truck convoys have already been sent from one side of Germany right through Germany across into France to Calais on the French side of the border of the Atlantic there, or North Sea, and not a driver in sight. 30 trucks, no drivers in any one of those trucks. So it's going to happen very, very quickly. Because here's the thing: if you give an employer the opportunity of choosing between a driverless truck and somebody who they have to pay, feed, put up with all the holidays and all the issues involved with employing people, an employer is going to take the driverless option. Not because he's being nasty or anything like that, but because he's in a competitive society. He's competing with other truck drivers and other truck companies, should I say. And nothing is going to be less expensive than having no truck driver, just with a bit of technology put in and a driver's replaced. Well, over time, that is going to replace 3 million truck drivers in the United States. But that's only the beginning, because they estimate there are another 7 million people who are supporting those 3 million truck drivers. So there's going to be 10 million people out of work. The the diners that feed the truck drivers, the motels where they check out and have a rest for the night. Whole towns are going to disappear off the planet. A bit like the railway coming through and just going straight past the town, and the town dies, right? Well, the same thing's going to happen with truck drivers when truck drivers are taken out of trucks. So these massive changes are underway. Somebody rang me the other day and said, "Yes, but are you sure about the little guys, all the little jobs that we talk about being replaced?" And I sent them the Oxford Martin School, the Oxford University big study, The Future of Employment, which came out in 2013, where they examine how susceptible jobs are to computerization. And according to their estimates from this big study they did, about 47% of total United States employment is at risk. They only studied the US, but whatever happens there will happen everywhere. And I'm just looking at the back of this now. The, at the end of this report, we start off with occupations that have a 99% chance of being replaced by computerization, artificial intelligence, and smart robotics. And we're talking telemarketers. These are the most at-risk jobs: telemarketers, insurance underwriters, cargo and freight agents, tax preparers, library technicians. These are all in the 99% category. Data entry keys, insurance claims and policy processing clerks, order clerks, wherever you are in the world, tellers, umpires, referees, and other sports officials, something I'd never thought of. That can probably all be computerized. Insurance appraisers, loan officers, legal secretaries, bookkeeping, accounting, and auditing clerks, hosts and hostesses, telephone operators, real estate brokers, cashiers, motion pictures. We're still in the 97% category here. Dental laboratory technicians, cooks in restaurants. And if you haven't seen a video, which I saw a couple of weeks ago, of a completely computerized restaurant where the whole kitchen is set up, there's nobody in there. The computerized arms are doing all the cooking perfectly every time, by the way. Interviewers, cabinet makers, bench carpenters, locomotive people. It just goes on and on. Butchers, we're in the 93% category there. So this is coming in a very, very fast way. And of course, when people don't have the opportunity to have jobs, what are they going to be doing? How are they going to make their money? Well, we have the most extraordinary opportunity for these people, for everybody to position themselves now and get their skill sets up and start building their teams in their for life business, so that when this flood of people who are going to be losing their jobs need something to do, you've got the exact answer for them. And of course, For Life is the premier network marketing opportunity in the world, as we are finding out more and more every day when we talk to other people in other companies who just look in awe at what we have at For Life. And For Life are adjusting everything behind the scenes to make things better and better and better for us. It's just an amazing business, the For Life one. So Dave asked me to come on today, not to say any of that, but I thought I'd share it quickly. The question is, of course, how do you find people to DittoTalk to? Now, many of us have been in For Life for quite a long time, and everybody I personally know knows what I do, and I've spoken to them about it. They're either in our business already, or they know about it and they're not interested because they got their own thing going on. So I thought I'd just share with you something that somebody new in our team has just found out how to make work. I'll just pull up her Facebook page so I can find out exactly the words for you. Just a tick. Okay, so she's a millennial, right? She's under 35. She knows how Facebook works. She didn't have to be trained in Facebook. She lives on Facebook as everybody under that age does. Some of us have to learn how to do it, but it just comes naturally to the younger people. So I said to her, okay, so how about doing a little post on Facebook and using your own words, present them with an opportunity. Now, I should also share with you that this lady is quite new. She's only been in the business for about 2 months. She already has customers, and she's extremely keen to build the business because she is a call center. She works in a call center, and her husband works in a stores. So they're really, really excited and keen to do better for themselves. And so I said to her, if you can attract some people for a meeting that we will do on the 17th of January, which gives us about a month to build up as many people as she can possibly attract to come to this workshop that I'm going to help her do on the 17th of January in her local area where she lives. And she said, so how do I find people to come to this? And I said, well, think about using DittoTalk as your pre-approach pack. Instead of sending them an audio like we used to do in the old days or send them a book, DittoTalk them and see if you can build up to 50 people. Because I said to her, if you want 5 or 10 people to come to this meeting, you have to invite about 50. That's the rules. That's just the way it works out there. And so she said, well, how do I find people? I said, you're no doubt a Facebook expert. And she said, well, I sure know how to make it work. I said, have you ever promoted yourself? She said, no, but I could find out. I said, well, go and find out and then do a post out to somebody, a group, and see what you get coming back at you. Well, long story short, she posted a little, and I'll read you in a tick exactly what she said, into a group called South Auckland Mums. So it was a local group, and she was targeting mothers and others who may be looking for something. And here's what she said. She said, top of the morning, South Aucklanders. Anyone reading this who is unemployed, employed, part-time, full-time, just been made redundant, or has absolutely no idea what they want to do, here's the perfect opportunity for you. I'm looking for 4 people. Serious inquiries only, please. No experience needed, happy attitude, great team support. If you would like to take a look at an amazing opportunity, please comment below or message me. Well, I'm looking at how many people came back to her. Would you believe in the first day she had 45 people come back at her with a personal message asking her to give them more information. She's now had 83 come back just on this one post. Okay. She's doing 5 to 6 DittoTalk presentations a day, and she is, on my advice, getting every one of them to click the more info button at the end so they receive more information, and then follow up 1 day and 2 days later to see that they got the information and to remind them that this is all about coming along to hear her hero, which I guess is me, speak at this meeting, at this workshop on the 17th of January. Well, she's going to have a lot of people coming along to this thing because guess what? Almost everybody, barring 2 that she's done so far, have been extremely interested in coming along and hearing more about it. So there's a way to build not only interest in the business, but also to use as building toward having workshops and getting people coming along to your sponsor, to your sponsor helping you do a meeting. I got a text from her last night. I'll read it to you. She says, let me just dig it out here. Excuse me a second. It says, hey Barry, this is at 10:30, night before last. Hey Barry, before you go to sleep, I just got to tell you and say, For Life rocks. DittoTalk rocks. You rock. Bill rocks. And I rock. Have a good night's sleep, Barry. She is so excited. And every time she does a DittoTalk, she gets better at it. She started off by saying to me that this thing took about an hour to do. And I said, how can it take an hour when if you didn't do anything other than read the script and let them watch the videos, it would only take 25 minutes or less than that. So here's what happens when you DittoTalk. Of course, you allow people time to talk. You have big conversations. But you are in control of how fast this happens because you're the only one that's got control of the down button, of course. So she's getting faster and faster at it, and she's now down to about 30 minutes. She'll get it down to 25 to 25. But her target is to do 5 or 6 a day. And that's what she's achieving. So there you go, Dave. That's a great story from someone who's really making this work big time and loving every bit of it. I think probably the most important part about that story is that she is brand new, and I haven't really had time to sit with her yet. I've had a few coffee sessions with her, of course, and she's soaking me up like a sponge, but I haven't told her exactly how to do the Ditto Talk. She just did it. And because it's only a script to read, a brand new person can do this straight out of the block, straight out of the park. So she's a great example of that. So Dave, there you go. I'm really excited about this whole thing. Other people are as well, and I just know that if anybody has the ability to post out into groups with their Facebook account, they can also have people coming back at them like this, and they can be doing 2 and 3 Ditto Talks a day. Forget about lead pages, forget about anything else that is yet to come with the system. People can get going on this straight away and follow my lovely lady's lead. So there you go, Dave. I'll pass it back to you. Thank you so much for the opportunity for coming on and speaking today.